was a great British composer, Ralph Vaughan Williams. It looks like Ralph. He pronounced it Rafe. Born in 1872 and died in 1958. Lots of music for orchestra, for choirs. He only wrote 3 pieces for band, however. And recently I've been involved in a project where his publisher, Oxford University Press in Britain, has given rights to one publisher, GIA Publications, to transcribe, which means take a piece that was written for another medium and rewrite it so it works for band. And we've been given exclusive permission to do this before Vaughan Williams' music goes into public domain, which means anybody could do it. So I decided I would pick music that was really wind music. That being of a pipe organ. Right? We think of a pipe organ as a keyboard, but all the key does is release air through a pipe. Well, that's what they're doing. They're blowing air through a pipe. So he wrote 10 organ preludes. And I transcribed 3 of them, and we're going to play 2 of them for you, right in succession. One is called A Wedding Tune for Anne, and the other is called The New Commonwealth. This is the first time I actually have had the chance to conduct these, even though I did the transcription. So this has been kind of fun. And actually the first performance of this, I heard and I thought I had no idea what I was doing. And then I realized that the band didn't play very well. And these guys are playing it the way it's supposed to sound. So I hope you enjoy. I know this is the Mississippi premiere of these 2 organ preludes by Ralph Vaughan Williams. There's nothing more exciting, at least to me, in music than a world premiere, and you're about to hear one. Both to tell you about the piece and to conduct it, would you welcome back to stage the director of bands here at Delta State University, Dr. Eric Richards.
So a couple of years ago, about 2 years ago, again, Dr. Armstrong and I were talking, and we thought it might be a great idea for the honor band to get to have the opportunity to do something that they wouldn't normally get to do at their home schools. There are instances in the history of music education where we tried to hook up students with composers. The Ford Foundation sponsored kind of a program for that in the 60s and gave us John Martin's Chants, for instance, and some of that music. But that doesn't really exist so much anymore. The best way you get to meet a composer and to play good music, etc., is to invite them to do clinics, and etc. So we invited a young composer by the name of Robert Langenfeld. He's in his late 20s and lives up in Kansas City. To write us a piece for this group. Initially, this should have been premiered in 2020, I believe. Yes, 2020. For a variety of reasons, that didn't work out, and of course, COVID. So here we are, a couple years later, and we're able to finally bring this kind of long-term project to fruition. Robert, whenever he and I were speaking, wanted to know what it was about this piece what we wanted to do with it. He had a lot of ideas, I had a lot of ideas, and so we spent a lot of time kind of spitballing things. And one of the questions he asked that I thought was fascinating was, well, tell me about the Mississippi Delta. Tell me about where you live and what does it do? I said, well, blues. That's a thing here. That's every little town in the Delta claims to be where the blues were given to Robert Johnson. And he thought that was fascinating. And he said, well, what if we make a fanfare and we'll base it off of the blues? If you're thinking, those two things don't seem to go together. Oil and vinegar, you know. And so he stewed with that a little bit, and then, and this is a true story, my phone exploded one morning at about 4:30. He had been on an early morning walk in New York City. He was working on another commission with a group up there. And he had a brainstorm, and he couldn't wait to get back to the computer, but he had to tell me all about it in a text message, forgetting that there is a time difference between here and there. And so he said, we're going to do a fanfare. It's going to be blues inspired. You're going to love it. I'm also going to throw in a quote of going to Kansas City. Okay, cool. So 3 or 4 versions later, we have a piece called Blue Shift. This is the world premiere of Blue Shift. It means no one in this room, no one in the world has ever heard this before. You get to be the first. So this is a thing that is very unusual in our world anymore. So it's exciting to be able to do this here in the Mississippi Delta with these guys for you. This piece was made possible by a very generous grant by a local donor, Margaret Walker Hayes. I don't believe she's with us this evening. No. But she was very generous and paid for the commissioning fees for this, and here we are. So, without a whole lot more further ado, I really hope you enjoy the world premiere performance of Blue Shift by Robert Langenfeld.